surprise, listener, we have another listener episode for you. Today, just like we did in our last listener episode, we're going to answer some questions from you guys, and we're also going to do another reading. If you're interested in being read on the podcast, or if you have a question that you want us to answer in one of these bonus episodes, as always, please send an email to synergytosynastry@gmail.com. And if you just want to say hi, we're very open to that too. We'd love to meet you. With that, let's jump into some listener questions.
We have some pretty juicy questions this time around, I think. First one is from episode 6, which was the two-parter episode that we had with Lisa. Do you think there's a connection between consciously choosing to listen to your intuition and self-hypnosis?
Can we define self hypnosis?
Cleveland Health, as an example, they say inducing self hypnosis happens through a simple relaxation technique and then using the power of suggestion to help change your thoughts, feelings, behaviors.
Like insert behavior here. So, like if I give up
Right.
smoking, maybe I chew gum in place of the smoking.
I view that as different for sure than working with your intuition, because with your intuition, you're not controlling it.
Yeah, I agree
It's
with
not
you.
that, like, with self hypnosis, there's an inner voice, feeling, response, conditioning that is moving you to behave, think, feel in a certain way. And it's you trying to wrangle that so that it's more productive, that it's healthier, puts you more at ease. Whereas intuition is ease. It just happens. Like, you don't do something to your intuition. You can engage with your intuition more and you can nurture it, but it's already a thing that people have.
I like this question because it really gets you thinking. But yeah, to me, the self hypnosis, it sounds like, I mean, even if you hear an inner voice, like whose inner voice is that, right? Is that society's inner voice telling you what you should and shouldn't be doing? Is it your intuition? Is it, someone from your childhood who was really mean to you? Is it someone from your childhood who was really nice to you? From just learning about this today, I would say that they are different. And I now have 1 million questions about self hypnosis. So, listeners, if you have any opinions on this or if you know anything about it, please email us because we would love to hear. I don't think this is the last time we'll talk about this. All right, next question. What yoga poses can I do to target the areas of the body where emotions get trapped? For example, the face, neck, shoulders, chest, stomach, gut, hips.
The infographic that we created for episode 7 covered where emotions may be stored in your body. So that's what this question is referring to. Starting with the first one, at the top is face, which I want to bring up. I don't know if you've heard of this, Christine, but there is such thing as face yoga. Semi massaging your face or just moving some things around. Like, it sounds weird when you describe it out of context, but it's just relaxing.
I've been in classes where sometimes they will do face yoga. So if you're looking for something quick right now, I bet you've been staring at a computer screen for way too long. And what they basically do is you sort of like relax your eyes, like relax your eyelids, let your eyes fall back into their eye sockets. And then once you're calm, start to move your eyes around in their eye sockets. So
Mm.
look straight up, rotate your eyes all the way to the right, rotate them down to the left, back up, and then go backwards over to the left, down, over to the right, and back up. And then even going through one pass, my eyes already feel like they've been stretched. So if you're looking for something really quick to do, I feel like that's kind of an easy one. You can even do it at your desk and no one will know what you're doing. You could be rolling your eyes at your coworker.
Next one is the neck.
Mm. I have a lot of neck pain, so I have a lot of fun poses for this. One of them is cat cow. You just get on all fours and you move your whole spine really, but it gets into the neck. I have a lot of thoracic spine mobility issues. I twist myself overnight, so that one helps a lot. Along with threading the needle, if you can look that up, and fish pose.
As you're listing those off, I go, "Oh, those are also great for chest, for
Mhm.
shoulders." So that's something to consider. If you wanna target more than one area, then there are lots of yoga poses out there that allow you to hit multiple. Others I would think of just for the neck are similar to what you just said about the face yoga, moving your eyes, is you can do different types of neck rotations or neck holds and essentially neck threading, which is you're just moving back and forth or you're doing it on an angle. So it looks like you are nodding or shaking your head and you're coordinating it with breath and just supporting it to relax. You could do a forward fold. So you're standing or it's wide-legged straddle and you're just dangling like a rag doll. Your head is hanging and it's helping your neck to elongate. If you're trying to elongate your neck, if you're trying to get a crick out of it, if you're trying to just have more mobility, there's different ways that you can address that.
And always remember, I feel like we always say this, but if it hurts, please stop. If you are not sure of what you're doing, please go to a class and do this. We don't want anybody getting hurt. The whole point is to feel better. Next up, we have poses to open up your shoulders. And I mentioned thread the needle is good for your neck. It's also good for your shoulders. So this is a good one to get like a two in one. And if you're feeling really tired, child's pose is good for opening your shoulders as well.
You can do a lot of movement. You can do arm circles. You can do, I forget what kind of yoga this is, but it might be kundalini. But you're moving, you're shaking, you can bounce your shoulders up and down. You can shimmy them. Christine loves to shimmy.
Love it. All-star cheerleader for life.
Yeah.
Next up, we have poses for opening the chest. Fish pose is one of my favorite chest openers. A spinal twist I really like because it opens your chest
Hmm.
and your low back. Some more advanced poses are like camel pose or boat pose if you're, a little more flexible and you want to try those.
Bow pose. And that's where you're lying on your stomach and you reach back and grab your shins, your ankles, your feet, whatever you can reach, and you're lifting yourself upward. That is definitely a chest opener and is going to get in your shoulders too. I would save something as quote unquote advanced as that for being under supervision and with a teacher that understands what your physical limitations are with your core and your back.
And to be clear, when I said boat pose earlier, I meant bow, BOW.
Okay.
So that's fine. I was like, oh, that's the one I meant. Yep. Sorry.
Next, we have stomach and gut. Really, that's just getting at your core and your abdomen. So, classics for this are twists.
Mm,
Christine mentioned doing a spinal twist. You can also sit cross legged. And as an example, you're twisting to the left, sit up taller. You start to turn towards your left side. You put your right hand on your left knee and you reach your left arm back. Have you done Wild Thing before?
I don't believe so.
Trying to think of how to describe it, but it's like you have one leg straight and then you kickstand the other one. So you flip back. So you're holding yourself up with one hand. I think you need to see a picture of it. You've probably done it before. But that's another one where you it could be a chest opener. You're also like really extending and expanding your core because you are elongating, you're balancing, you're holding yourself up. It activates a lot of areas in your body. So that's a bigger one that's maybe a little bit more out of the box. But yeah, I would say number one thing for your stomach and your gut are twists and folds. Forward folds, standing folds. Touch your toes, touch your knees if that's as far down as you can go. That's fine.
A seated side bend,
Hmm.
it's very good for the beginner because you're sitting down, you put one arm up and you reach it to the opposite side of the room. And now we can get into my favorites, the hip openers. Some of my favorite hip opening poses are happy baby and frog pose. And then you can also try a yoga squat. You kind of have to have a little balance work there and your hips have to be a little bit more flexible. What about you?
The icon of all yoga poses, pigeon.
Yes, what a good one. How did we forget that? Oh my god, that's also in my regular practice.
Yes. I love a pigeon pose. And the great thing about pigeon is there are 101 modifications for it. You don't ever get into that and not go, "Oh!" Like, you are
Yeah.
feeling something. One of my favorite things about yoga is you can always make it more advanced, and that's why if you're laying, as an example, in a spinal twist, if you do it for 30 seconds, that's nice, but if you do it for minutes, that's when we're talking about yin yoga, you're gonna start getting into the fascia and really undoing and opening up and releasing the tension. What Christine was saying, where it can feel uncomfortable, but there's a difference between it feeling uncomfortable because it's tight and it feeling painful. So you always want to dial back a little bit. But I consistently find for hip poses, you're going to get more benefit by being in it for longer. And it's just understanding what your limits are, and doing it consistently is helpful, and it can allow you to work towards a goal of being in it for longer or going into a version that's slightly more advanced.
And now, on to our listener reading. The first image I saw, like, opens up into this fairy tale land.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like a storybook, like your life right now really truly feels like a fairy tale. And also, there's someone here who, before you even said your name, just came in. And so I kind of put him off to the side to like make the focus about you. And he kind of exaggeratedly was like, please do what you need to do. And I feel like it's your dad. I feel like any chance he gets to communicate with you, he's going to take it,
Yeah.
whether or not.
I knew he was gonna try to barge his way into this.
Yeah, yep, he did. He's like, I don't care that you're recording a podcast. Like, this is all about us, and I will be there.
I was reacting when you first started talking about it being a fairy tale because it was very similar energy and imagery to what I got. So when I first tapped in, I saw you like running and spinning and skipping around in a field, and you had flowers and you were like throwing the flowers everywhere, and it was just really happy. And then it was also getting intercut
Mhm.
with, I was seeing a wall being painted with like pink stripes on it.
Mhm.
And so I can look into that more,
Okay.
but the two of them paired together, it was really playful and just fun and joyful energy right off the bat.
Okay. That sounds good. I like that.
So, if you want, we can keep looking into these images, or you can ask us questions.
yeah, go for it. Let's keep looking.
The whole scene was changing, and I was seeing you then behaving in the polar opposite way,
Mhm.
where like you're sitting at a desk and everything is black and white and gray, and I was getting needing like an energy reset.
Okay.
um do you relate at all to that?
Kind of. It's funny because I kind of feel like my for myself I'm a bit of an empath where like energy really affects me a lot.
Mm,
Um, and so like it kind of makes sense because I feel like energy kind of like weighs on me like a
hmm.
physical thing.
Yes, yes, totally.
So, I have a couple of things. One, in this image of you, I see your dad kind of like sprinkling magic bits throughout your life. He's very involved, and
Yes.
he's like leaning over and whispering into your ear. And I was like, are you visiting her in dreams? Are you sending her messages? And it's like a combination of all of this. So I don't know if you're remembering these dreams or if you're like running into these coincidences specifically related to him.
Almost like feel like I can feel him with me all the time.
I was just gonna say what he shows me, it's almost like he's walking next to you and like leaning into your ear, whispering into your ear, making a joke about something that like you should not be making a joke about during the middle of a workday.
Yeah.
And then when I allow myself to like merge with him a little bit more, he shows me like ballroom dancing with you. Like, I just feel like there's something about the father daughter dance. I don't know if you've been thinking about it or if you've been planning it, but I'm getting chills now. But he's like spinning you around in the dance floor, and I was like, "You're no Fred Astaire," and
Right.
he's like. He's like, "I can be right now."
I talk to him a lot, so I feel like that whispering thing makes sense because I feel like I do actually like communicate with him like in my own head a
Mhm.
lot. I haven't really been thinking about the father-daughter thing, but I wonder if he thinks about it. Like at my wedding, he
Yeah.
didn't get to do that, so I'm sure that like maybe he's thinking of that. Um,
He has, like, the jazziest, like, tuxedo suit on, like, he has, like, a cummerbund and, like, coattails, like, it's a very exaggerated version of the
right.
suit. It's really cute.
Yeah.
I've got this whole thing I'm trying to figure out over here, so I'll just give you the status update of what I have so far. You're gray and you're
Mhm.
sitting, and then someone comes up next to you and they have a pump and they're starting to pump energy into you. And
Mhm.
so it was colorful, like it was gold and pink, and I was seeing that you were filling up like from feet to crown. And then what happens is your eyes start sparkling and you
Mhm.
start feeling motivated and you get up out of the chair and you go to move. You know, outside of a car dealership, when they have those like blow up things that are
That
moving,
random arm man.
yeah, flopping a little bit, like you actually got too much air from
Right.
it, from being pumped up, like, there was an excess going the other way, and the suggestion that I got was to turn towards structure,
Mhm.
and I kept getting bones over and over and over again, bones, 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 and I wasn't sure if that's a h actually health thing. It didn't feel like it was, like, immediate, like, in the
Right.
short term,
Right.
um, but something about structure, 'cause I was asking, "Okay, well, if it's structure, then is it planning? Are you disorganized, or do you need to put structure in place in your life?" And I was getting a no on that, but I
Yeah.
kept getting this bone thing over and over and over again. Does anything spring to mind with that at all?
Nothing pops into my head when you say that. It might come to me later, but I don't nothing off the top is like, "Oh, yes, I think it's, XYZ."
Right, right. Because the general energy around it was that it's energetics related.
Yeah.
Because it's you're in one state versus in another, and then you're being filled up, which is artificial. That's not
Right.
what happens. We don't get pumps and then
Right.
we're glowing and have sparkly eyes. So
Right.
it's all symbolic of something else, but then there being an excess of, well, that's great.
Mhm.
Like you want to be motivated and you want to have the sparkle in your eye, but
Right.
then there's this missing component of whatever the bones are supposed to be representing. I will keep looking and report back.
Okay, okay.
So I've allowed your dad to take over the reading because
Yeah.
that's
I
that's
mean
what he wanted anyway. So the first thing that he's showing me is, like, he's showing me the park.
it's funny because then I was even thinking this when I was, like, saying how we're connected and I talk to him. I find that I speak to him a lot while I'm running.
Mm,
Like, I feel the most connected to him while I'm running. I don't know if it's because my head is clear or I'm alone and just like, but I'm always kind of like, and I always feel like he is there
yeah, I just
when
got
I'm
chills.
running.
So when you're running, I feel like you just get into a meditative state. Like I
Yeah.
just hear like the feet on the pavement. It's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Even if you're listening to music like that, like constant repetitive motion gets you into like this meditative state. And it's very easy for him, obviously, because he's trying constantly to get your attention. It's very easy for him to get your attention. And even
Right.
when like the song changes, like that's him changing the song.
Yes. You know
Yeah.
what's really funny is that I will ask him, like, I have a playlist, right? And I'll be like, you know what? I really want, like, when I'm about to go up the hill, I'm like, can you put this, like, and sometimes I'm like, oh, you know what? It won't come, but it'll be like the next one.
He's taking me over to your fiance or your
Yeah.
husband,
Yeah.
and I feel like he's very worried right now about like earthly things, like his job, his
Yeah.
career. Like
Yeah.
he's so in his head and he's brooding, and your dad's like, just tell them everything is going to be okay. Life is not easy and it's not going to
Right.
be a walk in the park, but you
Right.
guys are going to figure it out and it's going to work out.
Yeah. He's very bad about dealing with his feelings. So he
Mhm.
will not speak. And I had to kind of be like, oh, are you upset with me? Are you upset with, did I do something? And he was like, kept telling me no, but he will not talk to me. And so it's very frustrating.
Everything's happening in his head and he's
Yeah.
not sharing like his worst fears, so they're
Yeah.
just getting worse up in there and they're spinning.
Yeah.
um I would share this with him just to let him know that it's going to work out and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it may be a good way for you to guys to even have a conversation, or for you to get him to open up,
Yeah.
because you can just say like, this is what came through. Is it about work? Is it about this? And
Right.
like, kind of pull it out of him. Once he finally does talk to you, even if it's like 3 sentences, he
Hmm.
immediately feels better, like just getting it
Yeah.
out.
Bones are the framework.
Okay.
I say, what does that mean?
Hmm.
And I got the word transience, which is just a temporary state.
Yeah.
And the message with that was basically what's happening is like you're having flashes of being without the support system, the structure, the bones.
Hmm.
And the message I got was needing to shape up. And the visual paired with it
Hmm.
was like a pottery class where you're
Hmm.
molding the clay and it's on the wheel, reforming how you want to exist in your life, take up space, and the energy exchange you have with other people.
Hmm.
When you're talking about how you're very empathic, typically that will present as just as needing to reinforce the boundaries that you have. What I was getting here was it's more so that that pump that's happening, it's
Hmm.
stemming from someone else. So the
Okay.
depletion that's happening is from other people. The pumping
Right.
you up and then that not working either is from an external source.
Mm.
And it's more about honing the practice of doing that refill and clearing. You're actually proactively and preventatively clearing the energy out from other people, so you are in control rather than you're in situations you're getting depleted. You're like, okay, something's off, the depletion is starting, stop, and then you're clearing them.
Right.
And then also that the refill, that you getting the sparkle back in your eyes, is coming from yourself and not from others around you in the living world and on the other side. That was clarified, that it can come from all different sides. I asked, of course, well, how does she do that? And what I got was water.
Okay.
And I was seeing baths, like foot baths, full baths, bath bombs, twinkly lights, meditation music. If you were in real time, you're not like, oh, sorry, I'm getting depleted, gotta go take a bath. Like, that's not gonna work. So, you need to have a version of it that you can do just in
Right.
conversation with someone. If you can't step away and just like, let me go over to the sink and just wash my
Right.
hands so I can connect with water. You could do that, but
Yeah.
if you can't, then what I'm seeing is actually like if you practice it in the physical way a few times, you're setting the intention. I'm clearing the energy from other people. I'm
Mhm.
refilling with my own positivity, and the energy is coming from within myself, and I'm recharging. Like it's literally recharging, not just that you're filling, but you are charging the battery. Then when you are in person with somebody, you're talking to someone, you can visualize it in your head
Okay.
because you can connect back to what that feels like. The water is just coming over you, it's clearing the energy of other people away. It's like you check your battery on your phone. You're
Right.
doing that with yourself and you see, oh, it's got down to 20%. Whoa, probably should plug it in. And you can do that. And you don't have to rely on a big bath with all these other things that you can have other tools.
Your dad was like, "All right, I gotta go now." I was like, "Excuse me?" And he was like, "Well, I want you to be able to concentrate on Kristen." And before he left, he kissed you on the cheek. He's like, "Of course, tell her I love her." And afterwards, I saw you just sitting down, almost as if you were in meditation, and your aura was just glowing. It was like sparkly and golden, and you looked so happy and peaceful. There were like hints of pink in your aura, which
Mm.
when I've gotten my aura read, they said pink is a color of love. I'm not sure about gold, but like it just looks, gold to me represents healing in this case. It looks like
Yeah.
that you needed that from your dad and that was healing. And
Yeah.
also there's like the little bit of love infused in there.
I was looking forward to this today because of like the rough energy day that I had yesterday. It kind of just all kind of makes sense to me.
All right, awesome.
But I will keep my mind open if anything pops in that like further resonates
Mhm.
after this.
Awesome. And oh, so weird. My candle just went out like right at like the closing. Um, so we're gonna go and pull a mantra for you.
For my mantra, I got cleanse, clear, repeat.
Mm,
What I was getting from it was that when you're clearing, it's like, well, now I am clear. I am like the filled vessel again.
right.
But that's something that, in addition to what I was talking about before with the visualization practice, in addition to something that's tangible, that you could say to yourself in the moment when you were feeling like energy kind of coming at you or getting depleted.
Okay.
And the mantra I got for you is I let go of what's not mine. And
Mm,
it's sing song it on purpose because I see you saying it as you're running. Once you get into that zone, like I let go of what's not mine. I let go of what's not mine. And you're kind of like Renee's is like sing songing and you can repeat it like
yeah.
while you're running in that tempo that you're running in. And
Mm,
like I also see like as you're running saying these mantras, you're like shedding all the things that are not yours. Like
mm,
whatever you've picked up throughout the day, it just
yeah.
starts to fall off.
Yeah. I feel like it all has to do with me taking on energy that I just do not need.
Hmm.
We're so porous. And
Yeah.
like sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's really, really not. So it's not a terrible thing that you're this open. You get to experience life and all of its joys. You're not numbing yourself out. And
Right.
as you continue on, you'll learn more practices to help you kind of sort through that energy that's not yours. And this is
Mm,
just the beginning.
I like that.
Whew. A lot came out of that. Oh man. How do you feel, Kristen? You feel good?
I feel good, yeah. He had a strong personality in life, and I'm sure that continues
Hmm.
after.
Oh yeah. He hasn't lost that. So very cool. And Renee, like I can't wait to listen back and hear what you read because I couldn't even focus. I have no
I
idea what you
was,
said.
I wanted to ask, you mentioned toward the end about gold and pink. Were you saying that for yourself or because I also said those colors?
No, for that's how I saw Kristen's aura at the end.
Oh, okay. Because those were the two colors I said earlier.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
Yes.
I know you said pink, but I didn't remember gold.
Yeah, I was saying with like the pumping thing that
Oh, yeah,
that you were getting filled with gold and pink.
right.
I thought you were responding to what I said because I said those
Nope.
colors.
Oh my god, I love this so much.
I'm an avid listener of the podcast. The after when you guys when like it's like the blooper section
Yay.
Yeah.
you put in there. That's my favorite part. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yay. We have people tell us that their favorite part is either the readings that we do or the
Mm,
bloopers,
yeah,
the outro, which
yeah.
I so appreciate, but then also then a little corner of my mind goes, "What about the content?"
No,
I
the
know.
content is good too. It's just the blooper part always makes me laugh. It's
Yeah.
Oh,
just so
good. That
funny.
makes
I
us
love
so
it.
happy. Thanks for listening.
If you'd like to learn more, the resources we used to prepare for this episode are listed in the show notes.
You can reach me, Christine, at Channeled by Christine with one L on Instagram.
And you can reach me, Renee, at _read by Renee, or connect with both of us via email at synergytosynastry@gmail.com.
Keep your spirit curious and your aura sparkling.
We'll see you when the stars next align.
No, we're not funny today. When people are like, use a word to describe you, I'm going to be like, hilarious. Because it's every
Yes,
time.
I say that. I say I'm funny.
I say I'm funny. I'm funny. What do you think?
Yeah. No, you know what we do? This all started with my mom's family. There's this fixation on being the funniest.
Really?
Yes. They all grew up saying that. Like they're trying to out funny each other. And it's like, oh, haha, like, well, I'm the funniest. So somehow that trickled down into my family. And we've had like full on conversations with some of this extended family, and like my granddad would talk about it. He had deemed my sister as the funniest, which I still disagree with. You're more likely to like just laugh at like how she is
Yeah, like she
versus
doesn't know
trying to
she's
make a
funny.
joke,
Okay.
as in you have a funny way about you and how you present. My mom does like she tries to throw in jokes in there, and I totally do that too. I am like planting jokes. I do it on purpose. I am trying to crack a joke. And then my brother, he's gotten a lot funnier. We're very proud of him. He kind of just puts these little comments in there, and sometimes it's kind of dry and you have to think about it and you're like, "Oh, he just made a really funny joke and it's hilarious." So if I like throw in a little one like what he does and like nobody responds to it, either I'm just sitting there laughing because I think it's funny, or I'm looking around, I'm like, "Do you hear what I said?" And then half the time they're like, "Yeah, I heard you." And then they keep going because 'cause they're just like, "That wasn't haha funny."
It's a tough crowd over by you. I'm, like, nervous to meet your family now. What if I'm not as funny as I think I am? No, they're like, "Ma'am, step out of the line. You don't belong here."